This is RTV6 News at Noon, working for you.
The rapid rise in COVID-19 cases in Indiana continues, and the state health department says we aren't even close to the expected surge that doctors and hospitals will eventually face. The latest numbers are out. We'll have those for you coming up right here on the news at noon. But first, this midday, we do want to update you on a shooting that left an 8-year-old boy dead on the northeast side. Metro Police were called out around 11 last night to a home on Tacoma Avenue and East 32nd Street. That's just east of Washington Park. Detectives say 8-year-old Roderick Payne Jr. had been shot, and police say that the boy later died at a hospital. Officers are still looking for information as to what happened here. If you have any information, you can leave an anonymous tip with Crime Stoppers. That number is 317-262-TIPS. More now to the COVID-19 pandemic. For the second day in a row, Indiana saw its largest single-day increase in coronavirus cases. The state health department says more than 400 new cases were reported, giving the state a total of 2,565. Another 16 deaths from the virus were also reported, giving the state a total of 65 since this pandemic began. The state health department says more than 14,000 tests for COVID-19 have been completed. Marion County continues to lead the state with more than 1,100 cases and 21 deaths. Hamilton County also reported its first COVID-19 death in the latest state report. The number of positive tests continues to grow in all of the counties surrounding Indianapolis as well. New this midday, Eli Lilly will soon be expanding their drive-through COVID-19 testing at its Indianapolis headquarters. For several days now, Eli Lilly has offered free drive-through testing to healthcare workers and first responders. It's how Metro Police and the Indianapolis Fire Department found out that some of its officers and firefighters had tested positive. Starting today, Eli Lilly will also test people who are still going to work in what is deemed essential business and who have had regular contact with the public. They will also test people who are over 65 and are showing COVID-19 symptoms, or those under 65 with other underlying illnesses. You must have an appointment and a written order from your doctor before you can be tested at Lilly. You can go to the website on your screen for more information about this free testing. This week, Governor Holcomb issued an executive order directing medical professionals to cancel or postpone elective or non-urgent procedures during this COVID-19 emergency. There were some questions about whether that included abortions in the state. During his daily news briefing on Tuesday, Holcomb was asked to clarify that order. He says his intent was to include abortion clinics among the medical facilities that they needed to dedicate their services to medical equipment to the coronavirus fight. But there also appeared to be a loophole in that order.
Unless, of course, by doing so would cause harm to the patient, in which case, and in every case, I would leave up to the doctor to determine.
Planned Parenthood of Indiana and Kentucky says it plans to continue offering abortion services at its clinic because it considers them part of essential health care for women. The governor will have another update at 2:30 today. We'll have that for you live on the RTV6 News and also at the IndyChannel.com. As the spread of COVID-19 continues across the country, the fight for more medical supplies and equipment from states grows more intense. More than 4,100 deaths are now confirmed, and after weeks of downplaying the virus, the president is saying that his top health officials are saying that tens of thousands more deaths are likely. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has more right now from Washington.
President Trump and his COVID-19 task force now with a grim outlook on the outbreak.
I want every American to be prepared for the hard days that lie ahead.
The president with a somber tone predicting a painful 2 weeks ahead for the nation. Top officials on his COVID-19 task force now believe as many as 240,000 people could die from the novel coronavirus, even following the administration's social distancing guidelines.
They're very sobering. You know, when you see 100,000 people, that's at a minimum number.
As health experts and federal leaders try to slow the spread, the Surgeon General telling Good Morning America the time for all Americans to wear masks in public could be imminent.
We've asked the CDC to take another look at whether or not having more people wear masks will prevent transmission of the disease to other people.
In an effort to curb the pandemic, the president has extended the administration's guidelines for social distancing until at least April 30th, but still refuses to issue a nationwide stay-at-home order, leaving it up to the state governments to decide.
Unless we see something obviously wrong, we're going to let the governors do it.
Meanwhile, the disconnect between states and the federal government on supplies is mounting. Some governors say they are short on critical COVID-19 equipment like masks and ventilators, looking to the White House for guidance while bidding against one another for life-saving tools.
We are paying $25,000 per ventilator, and we are broke. And the last thing I want to do is buy a single ventilator that I don't need.
Meanwhile, as workers and business owners remain in their homes and without income, the deadly new reality is hitting along with the financial hardship they're suffering now that it's the first of the month and rents and mortgages are due.
Currently laid off due to the COVID-19 pandemic, worried about how to pay my April 1 rent.
And lawmakers are already discussing another $2 trillion stimulus package, and the president says he wants it to focus on infrastructure. Andrew Dimber, ABC News, Washington.
Workers who are not able to work from home during the pandemic, including those working at the grocery stores. Now, one chain is rewarding those employees with what it's calling hero bonuses. Kroger says it has come to an agreement with the United Food and Commercial Workers Union that represents Kroger employees. Kroger will add $2 an hour to its employees' standard pay rate for those working between March 29th and April 18th. The bonus is in addition to Kroger's one-time $300 appreciation bonus that was announced nearly 2 weeks ago. Kroger is also giving employees emergency paid leave if they're impacted by the virus, and they're providing funding for child care workers who need it while their kids are out of school. It is time now for a check of our forecast. We're halfway through the work week. Todd, what can we expect out there on this Wednesday?
You know, it's still kind of cloudy. It's still kind of chilly out there, but there will be improvement really from this afternoon onward throughout the remainder of the week. The worst of the weather this week is definitely behind us. That is the good news. 45 right now in Indy. It's 47 in Bloomington, but where the skies are starting to thin a little bit, the clouds that is, and you notice the temperatures are a little bit warmer. 47 in Terre Haute, up to 51 degrees in Lafayette, and even here in the metro area. If you joined us this morning on Good Morning Indiana, these clouds were hanging even a little bit lower. So we're starting to burn off some of the moisture out there, and eventually these clouds, they will start to thin as well, and we'll get into some sunshine. You're just going to have to be patient over the next few hours for that to happen. You look back off to the west. Here's the clearing line in western locations. So the further west you are, the quicker you'll get into some sunshine. The further east you are, the longer you'll hang on to the cloud cover. Our highs today will be pretty late in the day once we get into the afternoon hours and we start to work the sunshine in as we climb up into the low 50s. But once we get past today, we are in great shape for the rest of the work week. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a few minutes. Lauren.
Todd, thank you. Well, we told you about Eli Lilly doing drive-through COVID-19 testing for more people. Now another doctor is doing more testing for the general public. Up next, our Rafael Sanchez is joining us with what you need to know if you're looking for a test. We'll be right back.
Murder returns Thursday on ABC.
Welcome back. Right now, an Indianapolis doctor who was the first to begin drive-through testing for COVID-19 patients for the general public. Our Rafael Sanchez went out there today, and it comes as Marion County leads the state with the number of people with the COVID-19 virus.
It happened on Saturday. It will happen again. Drive-through testing for COVID-19 in an Indianapolis neighborhood. Dr. Dorian Kenley offered the tests as people sat in their vehicles on the 4000 block of East New York. The doctor has a contract with Texas-based AIT Labs to administer the coronavirus screening.
This is about the length of the swab.
Okay.
This is inserted through the nose, and it goes into the back of the head, and we kind of tickle you kind of where the uvula is. So the uvula is the part that hangs down, the dangly ball as they call it sometimes.
Okay. Sounds painful.
It is not pleasant.
We connected using FaceTime. You're the only one doing this besides Eli Lilly. What's going on?
At the time that I started this, to be very clear, this is something that I tried to put together very quickly to kind of meet the urgent need.
Dr. Kenley hopes to expand his testing to various places in Indianapolis, at least 6 days a week. He charges a $100 flat fee to cover the drive-through exam. He expects that insurance, Medicare, Medicaid will cover the lab testing fee. Why aren't more doctors saying, you know what, let me do this?
I can tell you, based on my experience this week doing this, it is a very, very difficult thing to do logistically. A couple of the challenges that I had were getting the appropriate Medicare emergency approvals. I had to make a lot of phone calls to Wisconsin and Washington to get approvals to be able to do this. I had to establish the lab relationship. Availability of test kits is a big deal, especially for the stuff being distributed through governmental channels, which is one of the reasons I went through a private lab, because I was able to get that online. And hopefully one of the things we're going to see is more involvement from private lab companies to get us the resources that we need.
The Indiana State Department of Health is focusing its testing on the most vulnerable Hoosiers. Dr. Kenley is among the first locally to make COVID-19 testing available to anyone willing to show up and wait their turn.
And that was Rafael Sanchez with that report. The local testing site is open now and it runs through Friday. It's open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day. That location is at 1400 East 12th Street. Now, the State Department of Health would not comment to RTV6 about this specific drive-through testing location. The Joint Information Center says the COVID-19 test must be ordered by a physician and the test must be processed by a certified FDA lab. Dr. Kenley tells us that his lab is still waiting for that FDA approval, so these tests will be sent to another lab for now. With more people staying home, more women may be in danger. Next, what a domestic violence advocate and a victim is doing during the stay-at-home order to help keep people safe. And the pizza is in the oven and it's waiting to be picked up. Coming up, how one of the newest names in local pizza is working to keep its business going. Here's a live look outside right now from our Weather Now camera in Greencastle. This is the campus of DePaul University. You can see those clouds overhead. Todd Clausen will break down our full forecast, looking ahead to the rest of your week. That's coming up after the break.
Whirlpools now and get your party started.
COVID-19 is prompting a surge in domestic violence in central Indiana, according to advocates. Miranda Barnett is a domestic violence survivor. She and experts now say that it's a rough time for many couples. It can lead to both verbal and physical abuse. Look out for things like a loved one being controlling, not giving you privacy, or trying to dictate who you talk to or where you go. The problem with COVID-19 is it means that many victims have a hard time leaving their home.
I think that being stuck in the house is obviously gives a lot more room for opportunity, but it also has a lot more opportunity for tempers to flare. Obviously, there's money troubles involved right now, a lot of other stresses, and abusers tend to take those things out on their victims, and so in a high-stress time like this, you're going to see more.
Domestic violence victims may not want to call 911. However, they can reach out to an advocate like Beacon of Hope or the Julian Center, and they can help you come up with a safety plan. If you need help right now, the National Domestic Violence Hotline is always staffed. That number is 1-800-799-7233. Time now for a look outside. This is our Weather Now camera here in the downtown area. View to the north. We have some clouds out there today, Todd, but we know it's going to warm up a little bit.
Yeah, you know, and even those clouds will start to thin just a little bit as we work our way into the afternoon hours. And once we get the sunshine back, that obviously always helps everything, makes you feel better. First of all, because it's brighter outside and helps to warm us up as well. Yesterday, 43 degrees was the high temperature as we had a very winter-like feel with the cold air, the breeze, and the clouds that were around. Well, as we look ahead in this forecast, by next Tuesday, we're talking about high temperatures in the low 70s. 30 degrees difference from yesterday's high temperature to what we'll see on Tuesday. Until Tuesday, it's a slow and steady climb to eventually get there. But this is going to really be the first prolonged period of spring-like temperatures. We had some days here or there, maybe 2 days in a row, but this is going to be about 5 to 7 days of very mild air that'll be in place. Here's the view with the clouds starting to thin out just a little bit in spots across central Indiana. 45 degrees, that's the current temperature. Winds are out of the northwest at 8 miles per hour. And it's that northwesterly wind that we really need to get rid of, combined with the sunshine to help to moderate these temperatures. Everybody's within a couple degrees of each other. The exception Lafayette at 51 degrees, where they're probably getting a little bit of sunshine. That's why they're running a little bit warmer. But 44 is the current temperature over in the Greenfield area. Everybody eventually gets to highs probably in the low 50s. Most of these highs, though, will not occur until later in the evening hours, more so than the afternoon. 54 in Lafayette, 53 in Bloomington. A little cooler to the east where you hang on to the clouds a little bit longer. Richmond with a high temperature of 50 degrees. While we have the clouds, we don't have any precipitation, so that's at least some good news. And the back edge of the cloud cover here in eastern Illinois, so we'll eventually start to thin the clouds out, and there's no major storm systems heading our way. It's a pretty quiet 7-day planning forecast with only just a couple opportunities going forward of some light rain showers. Here are the clouds breaking apart this afternoon that TrueCast paints the picture of. The rain showers should stay off towards the east, and then overnight tonight, skies will be mainly clear, and tomorrow is a decent day for us. We get back above normal with high temperatures right around 60 degrees with sunshine. It'll feel pretty nice out there, and then look what happens going forward and beyond tomorrow. Once we get into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, temperatures will still be in the mid-60s. It's a nice forecast. Saturday, there could be a few spotty showers, and then once again on Monday and Tuesday, some spotty showers will be a possibility, but none of those days feature heavy rainfall or any widespread rain, and there'll be a plenty of an opportunity to get out there and enjoy the mild temperatures. But again, starting tomorrow all the way through at least the middle of next week, our high temperatures, Lauren, will be above that average high of 58 degrees.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, many pizza restaurants continue doing some takeout and delivery business, even as the number of restaurant options dwindle. One of the newest spots is on the Indianapolis pizza scene, and it's working hard to keep up with this demand. Brad Brown takes us inside.
Just on the eastern edge of downtown, Adam's Sweet is making some of Indy's best pizza.
I think that the fact that we do offer something that's maybe a bit more high-end, basically take the food seriously, but nothing else about ourselves. So people feel pretty comfortable when they come in and hang out.
King Dough has only been here a little more than a year, but they've already become a mainstay on this block.
Being a pizza shop, it's just in our DNA to be a carry-out friendly place. So we benefit from that big time. But yeah, and also just being kind of tucked into a neighborhood already. We already have a built-in customer base.
That oven in the back corner, imported from Italy. The huge flame inside, it's helping the King Dough dough turn out the perfect combo of crispy and chewy.
Kind of like Neapolitan pizzas are like the umbrella that we fall under, but we definitely do it our own way, like kind of a more Midwestern style. So ours are not 10, they're 14 inches. We cook them a little bit longer so they have some more bite and crunch to them.
Even though their dining room is closed on a busy Friday, the crew is firing on all cylinders.
Whenever it's all hitting the fan, we all just like stick to our spot and just kind of assembly line it. Like, I'm always like the guy who's pressing out the dough and everything, because I've been doing it for a long time. I'm pretty fast. So it's like, just keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving. We have like one person who, like, their position is literally they just sit at that table with the phones, like one after the other. It's like the next, like their calls are lined up. We're learning as we go right now. So mostly people have been awesome.
The patio waits for warmer weather and the crowds that are sure to return.
Let's flatten this curve a little bit so we can get back to, a place where we can open our doors to everybody and, take care of you the way that we want to take care of you. But until then, come inside, wash your hands, and we're going to feed you as much food as we possibly can.
Until then, King Dough will continue to be one of the hottest to-go boxes in the city. Working for you, Brad Brown, RTV6.
Brad, thank you. King Dough always has salads, wings, meatballs, and more on their menu. You can call to order or find them on most major delivery services. They're open until 9 p.m. each night. Well, it's our mission to make sure that you know it's still open around Indianapolis, and we call it We're Open Indy. Just go to our website, theindychannel.com. When you're there, you'll see an entire list of restaurants and other businesses that are still open to serve you. Let's take a live look down south right now. Our Weather Now camera here in Bloomington at IU's campus. We'll check in with Todd one more time and get a final look at your Wednesday forecast when we come back after the break.
50-54, keeping our clients safe.
Clouds will gradually start to thin out here this afternoon. It's a cooler day, but still not bad, 53 degrees. The warmth returns tomorrow with the sunshine, 63, and then in the mid-60s through the weekend before the 70s return to the forecast on Monday. Next chance of any decent rain will be a few spotty showers during the day, Lauren, on Saturday.
All right, Todd, thank you so much, and thank you all for joining us and making RTV6 your choice for news. We hope you come back and join us for the news at 5 o'clock. Be safe out there and have a great Wednesday afternoon.